This video covers the different ways to adjust the color of your overlay that are available in version 2 of aaLuminate, the color overlay reading aid app from Aardwearing Software Limited. This version of aaLuminate is much more powerful and flexible than earlier versions. This means that there are more ways that you can use to select the overlay color than ever before. This video covers those in some detail. It doesn't cover the different sources for the images that you're overlaying. These are handled in a separate video called Using Modes. It's assumed that you've already watched the Getting Started video and are familiar with running the app at a basic level. In this video we'll cover RGB sliders, HSL sliders, Assess My VS Picker and the opacity adjustment. Select this button on the main screen to show a bar of 3 buttons that will give you different ways to adjust the appearance of the overlay. Press this button to display the RGB sliders. This is the default color adjustment mechanism. Adjust the overlay color using these separate red, green and blue sliders as you wish. Any changes you make to these settings will be remembered in future, even if the app is stopped and restarted. Press this button to display HSL sliders instead. Adjust the overlay color using separate hue, saturation and luminance sliders as you wish. Behind the scenes, aaLuminate keeps the HSL and RGB settings in step, so you can swap between HSL and RGB settings as much as you like, and both sets of sliders will reflect the overlay color that you've created. Any changes you make to these settings will be remembered in future, even if the app is stopped and restarted. Press this button to display a color picker based on one of the 3 color sequences tied to your test result from the Assess My VS app, also available in App Store. The color sequence that's been used can be changed from the settings menu. Please see the Advanced Features video for details. 2 of the available color sequences, including the default one of 16 colors, have only one segment on the picker. However, the old 9 color sequence used in earlier versions of Assess My VS has 2 pickers to allow old test results to be used. Because the Assess My VS picker uses sequences of fixed colors, it can't be kept in step with RGB and HSL values. What this means in practice is that whilst if you use the Assess My VS picker to select a color, the HSL and RGB values are changed to match it, if you set the RGB or HSL sliders and then go to the Assess My VS picker, no color will initially be selected on that picker. We suggest that the best way to adjust the color of the overlay, if you have a test result from Assess My VS, is to do the following. 1. Make sure that the correct color sequence is selected in Settings. Let's assume for now that you're using the default 16 color sequence. 2. Change the adjustment method to Assess My VS. 3. Pick the color from your test result. 4. Optionally, you can now switch back to HSL or RGB sliders to fine-tune the color to see if you can get an even closer match to what you need. Because you can fine-tune away from the Assess My VS colors in this way, whilst aaLuminate remembers those latest RGB HSL settings, it doesn't store your latest Assess My VS picker color selection, which could have had different RGB or HSL setting values. Next time you come into the app, the color shade will be exactly as you left it, and you shouldn't need to adjust it again using the Assess My VS color picker. For all adjustment methods, an opacity slider is available. At the left-hand end of the slider's range, the overlay is nearly transparent. At the right-hand end, it's nearly opaque. Adjust this so that you can comfortably read the text through the overlay. Well, now you know how to adjust the color of the overlay. If you haven't already done so, now would be an excellent time to watch the Using Modes video to learn more about the different ways you can use this overlay. Thanks for watching. We hope you like aaLuminate and find it helpful. We'd be very interested to hear about any innovative ways you find to use it. We'd also like to hear your suggestions on other ways of adjusting the overlay color if you feel we're missing an important one out. If you have any further queries or suggestions for future improvements, please visit www.aardwearing-software.com.